सर्वभूतमानतोऽस्मि यस्यानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् आध्यात्मदीप अतिथिर्षतां तमोऽन्धं संसारिणा करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनु उपयामि गुरुं मुनीनाम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं तस्मादहं विगतविक्लवैश्वरस्य सर्वात्मना महिगृणामि यथा मनीषा जोजयो गुणविसर्गअनुप्रविष्टो तो येत हि भुवानन्वन्ते माम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for our continuation of Bhakti Vaibhav unit of third canto, 9th chapter to 12th chapter. So we had last discussed in last weekend 1 day and last to last weekend 2 days. So almost 3 days we were wonderfully reflecting upon the prayers of Brahmaji, who is our founder, the super founder Acharya, the original founder Acharya is Brahmaji, and his prayers are extremely profound. So that we discussed, and the Lord's reply to him also we discussed. And now last 1 or 2 verses are remaining, I think, and then we'll complete the next chapter also today. Krishna will. Let us see how it goes, but that's the plan for now. So that's what was, we have done the plan, right? Just show you. So before we go ahead, yeah, so this is our plan. Krishna willing, this was the plan and this is the plan. So we are not so far from the plan. So 1st June we are supposed to take 3 days for this. And 2nd June we didn't have class, so today we are having. So we'll try to complete this chapter so that the remaining part we can give, because as I told, these two are important chapters. Of course, every chapter is important, but based on the time Prabhupada has given the purpose, so we'll give that much time. So we discussed about the beautiful Brahmaji's prayers and his aspirations before he began his service. So he asked for some benedictions, and then Lord's response to it. So now before we begin, so we'll recite some verses of glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, and maybe few of you can reflect upon what did he request to the Lord before he began his service. Yes, so some verses in glorification of Bhagavatam. सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्प्रभ सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभु कलौध्वान्तोदितोदित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण की जय. This verse is telling us the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam to be so many things. Sarva Shastrabdhi Piyusha. The essence of all the Shastras. Our Piyush is nectar. Shastra Abdi is the ocean of Shastras, because it's very vast. Sarva Vedeka Satphala. It's a Nigama Kalpataro or Galitam Phalam, right? The ripened fruit of Vedic tree. Sarva Vedeka Satphala. Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya. It is a crest jewel of all Siddhanta. Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. So it gives the vision, right perception to all the 14 planetary systems. Sarva Lokaika. And of course, people staying there. Sarva Bhagavata Prana. It is the life and soul or prana of all the Vaishnavas. Srimad Bhagavat. Kalau Dhvanto Dito Ditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. So it is non-different than Krishna, and that Krishna has appeared in form of sun to reveal the vision. So that's how the Srimad Bhagavat Purana is very glorious, and it's great auspiciousness that we are discussing that. Yes, so some quick reflections on our original founder-acharya's aspirations of request before he began his thankless service, most difficult service of creating all of us. Yes, any reflections? Remember? Anybody want to share? They were the last 4 verses. So what did he say? Anyone remembers, or anyone wants to see? And yes, Mother Shobhalakshmi Devi.
Brahmaji wanted to not forget the Lord while doing the creation, and he was also granted the benediction that he will remain free from the mode of passion.
Yeah, during creation, he will remain free from mode of passion, or rather not that to free from mode of passion, because he has to act in passion, but not get influenced by the mode of passion, because he wanted to focus on Lord's pastimes. Yes, so that actually there are 4 requests. So you said very nicely that he didn't want to forget the Lord. Yes, what else? Second, you said about not getting in, what is that? Rajo karma shamalam, yatha vijaya. Let my mind be absorbed in your pastimes with your internal energy. Although I will do all this creation. Yesham prapanna varado ramayatma shakta, etc. That was. Yes. What else? There are 4 total. Actually. You may see and tell also, no problem. It's good to remember. That's what we should pray actually, whenever we do any service. What are other things? So especially the first one was vision actually. Please give me introspective vision, or pradnya. It's saying pradnya means first thing which Brahmaji is desiring is give me proper vision, introspective vision by which I can create. So the verse is Drisham Anuprashat Yathag. This 22nd verse. Soyam samasta jagatam surudeka atma. So just as, my dear Lord, you are, Satvena, you are maintaining the material world, and Bhagena, you are maintaining opulences, you are maintaining the spiritual world of pure devotees. So similarly, I also have to do. So give me the proper pradnya or right vision or introspective vision. So first thing is we need a right vision. Second thing, he asks for remembrance of Lord's pastimes. Let my mind be fixed on your pastimes. While I am doing, let it not become attached to the activities in the Rajagun. So that is the second thing he asks in 23rd verse. Hesham prapanna varado ramayatmasha. Engage my mind in your pastimes so that I can avoid the sins involved in creating. Yunjita karma shamala. So this is the greatest influence which we have while working in this material world, which we cannot give up. We have to do it somehow or other. We have to deal with material energy of this world in our occupation, in our interactions, and our everything. So this is very important prayer. And then what he asks, that let me not forget the Vedic injunctions. That is the 24th, the sound vibration. Let me not forget that. And the fourth one is the waking up prayer, which all pujaris sing. Please give me some instructions and glance. So that's what actually the wonderful aspiration of our founder-acharya. So now let us
He
go to yes, Mataji.
he also said that he did not want to become proud of the creation.
Yeah. Surely he did say that. In specifically which verse? I think that karma shamali means that only. Not getting affected, that is what is proud. Or 22nd, which verse Prabhupada writes that? Prestige of being the creator. Right? That's what Prabhupada means.
23, Prabhuji.
23rd, na? Yeah, that is what is karma shamalam means ahankar and the pride which is born from ahankar. Let it not affect me. Yes, so that's, yes, thank you, very important. That is 23rd verse. So karma shamalam means not becoming proud. And then Lord replied to him with great pleasure and all. So now we go ahead. Last 2-3 verses were removed. And Ram Kishore Prabhu had asked a brilliant question. So I inquired, but I hope once he comes, then we'll share that about Brahma, if some of you remember. I don't know. Prabhuji is going to come, Matai? Or any idea? So once he comes, we'll discuss that.
Yes, Prabhuji, actually we are here only. We are listening today as we have a meeting, so we are cooking.
Prabhuji,
He's
we have
here only.
counseling meeting, Prabhuji.
Yeah, he's saying that
you are there, so then I can answer.
Yes, Dandot Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandot
Please
Pranam.
let me know.
Yes, so you had asked something about Brahma, right?
Correct. Yes, Prabhuji.
Very nice question. So can you please repeat for benefit of all other devotees?
So the question was that, after 50 years, there's a 50th year of Brahma.
Yes.
And we hear that the Brahma Vimohan Leela has been carried out. And after the Brahma Vimohan Leela, Vrindavan was revealed to Brahma. So my question was, but Krishna comes in every year of Brahma, every day of Brahma.
Every day of Brahma, yes.
Every day of Brahma, if Krishna comes, so then is this Leela repeated every day? Or has this Leela happened only in the 50th year and first day?
Yeah. So thank you for that question. So I asked Kanai Krishna Prabhu, and so there are mentions by different acharyas. So and we have to reflect, conjuncture on whatever is written, right? So what Jiva Goswami says is actually Brahmaji got darshan of Vrindavan and Brahma Samhita was recited. He got darshan of Vrindavan as well as Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Vaikuntha. Okay. So that is in very first day only. So that happened that time. So surely he got that. So, but when Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has opinion that in Padma Kalpa, in after 50th year, he got Vrindavan revelation. So that is special, more deeper and more sweeter aspects of Vrindavan he could understand in the 50th year. Just as as we progress in bhakti, we also experience more and more, right? The same things we are there, but it is revealed more. Like, maybe when we came to temple on first 1 year, and then after 10 years, we come to the same temple. The same place is there, we see the same, but the experience is different, right? So similarly, Brahma is also progressing in his bhakti because he is always engaged in service. So that is the thing. Because he Krishna personally comes in every day, every kalpa of Brahma. So 50 years means every day Krishna has come, right? So that is the case. And secondly, since Chatushloki was spoken, that is mentioned in 2.89, right? So there it is very clearly said that Lord Krishna spoke to Brahma, okay? In 2.9, Chatushloki. There one Jiva Goswami says, but current description is a general description of a Brahma Kalpa, general description of Padma Kalpa. So it can be of any Brahma. General description. It is told what happens generally. Okay. So there it is very specific of person who spoke to who. Here it is more about what activity happens, like that. And it's extremely dynamic actually. The way Brahma responds, ye thamam prapadyante, accordingly Lord reveals. So I don't know, some devotee here only was asking, or some other forum, that what is the quality of Brahma by which he could hear Chatushloki? Because that was his first day of first birth only, right? What was his qualification? So qualification was his trust on the words tapa tapa and the way he responded to it. That's how he began. Because of his great faith and execution and obedience to those words, this Brahmaji was revealed Chatushloki. So it depends on the response of Brahma, whosoever is the living entity. Right? So that is the case. I hope it makes sense.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you very much. So we'll go ahead now. Okay, this is 3.9. So last few verses, very beautiful verses where Lord is kind of instructing very nicely. So we'll see them in chapter 9. Yeah. So we are seeing this, yeah. So having offered prayers and getting reply from the Lord very positive, and Lord answering and pacifying all his requests practically, that my dear Brahma, don't worry, you will not get affected by passion. You will always remember the Vedic words. And now Lord is giving Falashruti of Brahmaji's profound prayers of pure devotion. So that's what till here we had come. So text 40. Ya etena puman nityam stutva stotrena mam bhajit tasyashru samprasideyam sarvakama vareshwaraha. Yeah, please read the translation.
Any human being who prays like Brahma and who thus worships me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires. For I am the Lord of all benediction.
Yeah, see, glory of Brahma's prayers is anyone who recites those prayers always. Nityam etena puman nityam shrutva stotrena ma bhajit. The way you have done my praise through your prayers, if someone does that, he worships me similarly like you, then tasyashu samprasidhyam, I will be samprasid, I shall fulfill sarva kama, all his desires. So see how much he is happy with the prayers of Brahma. That he is giving benediction to it. Like last time also we were discussing that Lord says many times I am happy, but sometimes he is actually happy. And sometimes it is incidental happiness. And sometimes it is intense. So here it is intentional happiness of the Lord. Right? So he is so happy that anyone who repeats the prayers of Brahma, he will fulfill all his desires. Can you imagine? So, but the Prabhupada, when we say Sarva Kama Vareshwara, you see, the purport opens the eyes that Sarva Kama Vareshwara doesn't mean that person wants his material desires to be fulfilled. So, yeah, please read this purport. Small but very profound.
The prayers offered by Brahma cannot be chanted by anyone who desires to fulfill his own sense gratification. Such prayers can be selected only by a person who wants to satisfy the Lord in his service. The Lord certainly fulfills all desires in regard to transcendental loving service, but he cannot fulfill the whims of non-devotees, even when such casual devotees offer him the best of prayers.
Yeah. So see, when we say Sarva Kama here, that is spiritual desires. Is all spiritual desires should be fulfilled. Not that, okay, Sarva Kama, so I can chant these prayers of Brahma for my purposes. Very clearly said by Prabhupada. Because this whims of non-devotees means there are so many sections in Bhagavatam where wonderful prayers are, pure devotional content of prayer is there, but the whole thing is offered to fulfill one's own desire, right? So we saw that example of Devatas in 6th canto. The same 6th canto explains Hamsa Guhya prayers, brilliant prayers. But who is chanting that prayers? Daksha, who is not wanting pure devotion at all. So if you study those prayers, they are so nice. But Daksha is wanting power to create progeny. So Lord says, I am happy with you because somehow your desire is matching with my desire of progeny. That's why, you know. So that's why it is not about satisfying whims of others. So that's why the pure desires. That's why the prayers are heart of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially prayers by the pure devotees, like Prahlad, Brahma, Dhruva Maharaj. Because when he offered prayers, he was completely pure. So prayers are extremely pure. And so many, in 10th canto, you can take any. So really, we have to really delve deeper into the emotions of the prayers along with the content, because that is what is the heart and that is what is going to please Krishna. Anyone who recites, that doesn't mean that, that some people just ritualistically recite the prayers without even knowing the meaning. So that is also nice. But point here is that we understand the mood in which they are offered. So that's what Dashamasya Vishuddhartham Namanamiha Lakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmanah Shrutena Arthena Chanis. So Shrutena means direct prayers. So these are the direct connection with the Supreme Lord. So that's why they are very important. That's why we spent a good amount of time on these prayers to reflect on Brahmaji's mood, understand his intentions before he enters into a thankless service of creation, which many of us also have to. Right? So he's teaching us how to approach. So having said that, now Lord just described his pleasure with his devotees. Now he praises the devotees' affection for himself. There is nothing better than pleasing me. So he's saying, Purtena tapasa yajne danair yoga samadhina radham nishreyasam pumsam matpritis tattvavit matam. Yes, please continue. Or is there supposed to be?
Translation. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to be invoke my satisfaction.
Yeah. So tattvavit matam. Tattvavit matam is what? The tattvavit are the people, expert transcendentalists who desire to please you. This exactly fits to the tattvavit, which is there in Tadvidhi Pranipadena Pariprashnena Se. Upadikshanti te jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshina or Tattvavit, same. They have seen the truth. So who desire to please me, not make me object of their pleasure. So these are Tattvavit. What is their mata? Is Mat Priti Radham Nishreyasam Pumsa. The satisfaction of me or love for me is the highest ultimate beneficial thing. Savai Pumsa Parodharmo. You can do anything. Purtena, good work, tapasa, yajna, dana, samadhi. But all that, if it is done to please me, then it is the highest beneficial. If it is not done, it is shrama evahi kevalam. Right? So we know that. The same verse is spoken in a positive sense here. That verse is spoken in negative sense. Dharmasvanushtitah pungsam vishwaksena kathasuha na utpadayed yatiratim shrama evahi kevalam. So all these activities, tapasa, yajna, dana, or whatever our occupation, our anything, whatever we are doing, if it is doesn't invoke the affection for Hari Katha, Hari Nam, Hari Seva, then it is completely useless waste of time, entirely useless waste of time, only useless waste of time. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Such strong words Bhagavatam is using, and Prabhupada also says that he quotes the same thing in the purport as well. You see here, if the Lord is satisfied by an action, whatever it may be, then it is successful. Otherwise, it is a simply waste of time. So that is the standard of sacrifice, penance, austerity, etc. As Narada also says to Brahma, Vedvyas, idam hi pumsam tapasa shrutasya va suttasya sishtasya cha buddhi dattaya. You can use all your talents, abilities, skills, or rituals to glorify Krishna. That is also kirtan. The perfection of any activity, social, political, religious, philanthropic, is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This secret of success is known to the devotee of Lord, the Tattvavit. They only know this. Not everyone knows it, because they have so many distractions to please in this world. So that's what is, and that's what Jiva Goswami says, that opinion of wise is what? Affection for me by direct or indirect means is a perfection of intelligence. And the highest result for a man, because it's opinion of wise. So now, having said that, this is a very important, very beautiful verse where Lord is instructing. And Lord is showing the conclusion that everyone should pray for Preeti for me, love for me. Everyone should pray, Lord is saying that. Who is most dear without conditions and without limit. So he is most dear at all times, at all places, for all people. That's why one should pray for his Preeti. So very beautiful verse. Aham atmana atmanam dhatha prishta san preyasamapi ato mai ratim kuryat dehadir krite priyaha. Yeah, please read the translation.
I am the super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only.
Yeah. So here it's kuryad. Ato mai ratim kuryad. It's like an instruction, imperative thing you should do. So Lord is instructing here. Right? And therefore one should do activities for developing love for me, attachment for me. Although one will have all other things, but why? Because I am most dear. That's all. So that's what is this verse saying. Aham atma na atmanam dhata. So dhata is director and prestha also. Such loving director is the Supreme Lord. Preyasam, of all dear thing I am prestha. Preyasam prestha. So you may love so many things, but among all of that, whether you know it or not, Krishna is dearest to you and he loves you. Like that he says. So everyone should love me like that. So this is how he is telling, instructing Brahma, and of course through Brahma every one of us. This is the injunction. It's an injunction. So Prabhupada also says that Whether you know it or not, so there are two conditions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is dearest in both conditioned state and liberated state. But a person does not know the Lord is only dearmost object, then it is a conditioned state of it. But one who knows perfectly that the Lord is the only dearmost object, he is considered liberated. But these are two extremes and we are in between. So what is there? There are degrees of knowing one's relationship with the Lord, depending on the degree of realization as to why the Supreme Lord is dearmost. So there is a degree to this dearness also of every living being, right? So this degree is nothing but it can be seen at many levels, right? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So this is, as you go more closer, you become more intimately related to the Supreme Lord, right? So those who are truly Brahman realized also love every living entity, and they cannot hurt any living entity because they could see the unifying principle of Brahma everywhere. But more than that is Paramatma, then Bhagavan. But in Bhagavan means what? The Lord of the spiritual world. But even in spiritual world, there is further depth to the relationship of being dearmost, right? So there is Vaikuntha planets where there is opulence of Lord and there is more or less Dasyaras. Then there is Sakyat Dham, right? There is Lord Ram where there is further intimacy increase. And then there is Krishna Loka where the highest intimacy is there. But within Krishna Loka also there is further dearness defined more and more, right? So that is from Dwarka Krishna, where the Dwarkavasis, they are aware about Lord's lordship, or Mathura Krishna, and the highest is Vrindavan Krishna. So Vrindavan, there is a highest intimacy where there is no Aishwarya Gyan for that. Complete experience of sweetness of Krishna is there. It's like, the Acharyas compare that like a diamond is there, if you keep the diamond in ghee, then you can see the diamond. So that is like love of Dwarka. But if you keep the diamond in butter, you can't see the diamond. So diamond is like the Aishwarya of Krishna. So it is there, but it is hidden in the sweetness of Krishna, of this Madhuri in Vrindavan. And of course, within Vrindavan also there is a depth of intimacy when we go from Sakhyaras, Vatsalyaras and Madhuryaras. And of course, in that also there is a degree of intimacy. So these degrees of knowing, it depends on the closeness, degree of realization of the Supreme Lord, how he is dearest. So that's why the gopis are the highest. So here we see the example, what I have written here is like, jail is there, material world is compared to jail. So going out of the jail is happiness, surely. But one can go out just in the moat of the jail. Right? It's also out of the jail. There is some freedom. One can go to the kingdom, but one can go to the palace of the king. Or one can become a family member of the king. And one can actually reach the inner chambers of the king. So they are all living in the same kingdom only. He is out of jail. But the degrees of intimacy are different. So to degree, we know the relationship of the Lord depending on the realization. So Mahaprabhu has come to give the highest Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunaya Avatirnaka of the Manjiri Bhav of this, the highest service. So that is what is there. So there is a difference between that. There is, as one goes more and more closer, more there is an experience. So that's what is told. And then he gives a very nice example, which is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So of sun and perception of sun by an ignorant person and perception of sun by the devotee of sun. So before that, Prabhupada is saying something that what is in our experience. Because we don't experience the Supreme Lord, we experience Maya. That's what is being said here. Therefore, the living spark or eternal part of the Supreme Lord is the real basis of affection and not the body. Because the living entities are also parts of the whole living entity. That the supreme living entity is the factual basis of affection for all. So the same thing was asked by Parikshit Maharaj in the 10th canto. When he saw Brahma Viman Leela, and when the Krishna was loved more than Vrajvasis, more than their own children. So how is it possible? Because he is Atmana's Atma. So same thing is told here. So one who has forgotten the basic principle of his love for everything has only flickering love because of he is in Maya. So everything we love in this world is because of we love Krishna. Because everything substance is Krishna only. Whatever we experience is because of Krishna. Like, Rasoham apsu kaunteya, till the highest pleasure of this material world. Right? Krishna tells that there's all states of existence when one experiences pleasure while drinking water or having conjugal union. This is what is the bandwidth of the pleasures in the material world. But these all pleasures are coming by the Krishna's presence. Right? So that's what he's saying here. One who forgets that his love for everything has only flickering love because of he is in Maya. The more one is affected by the principle of Maya, the more he is detached from the basic principles of love. Because he is not able to see the connection with Krishna. This is what Chatusloki is second, actually. Not second, yeah, second Chatusloki. One cannot factually love anything unless he is fully developed in the loving service of love. So as Prabhupada says, if you want to love everyone, you have to love Krishna. You have to switch on the main switch. Then everything gets switched on, the original line. So that's what is the principle. So we are experiencing something in this material world, but that experience comes from Krishna's potency. That is what is the subject matter of 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as well as 10th and 11th chapter. That how to remember you, my Lord, in this world. So every essence of everything, best of everything, whatever you experience, see, is there in Krishna. Right? So that's what is being said here by Prabhupada. The word Kuryat is significant, so I said that it's must have it. It is just to stress that we must have more and more attachment to the principle of love. So Vishwanath Thakur raises a question that how is it that, my Lord, you are commanding every jiva to love you? Means, it is why, how can you do that? So then Lord there is a very nice analogy which is given here by Prabhupada as well as Vishwanath Thakur. So what they give analogy is the analogy of sun. So there is a sun, and see, here it's written. So sun is existing right now, we are all seeing that, right? So there is a sunshine which is giving us warmth and some heat, right? Now it is heat, not warmth. In cold season it's warmth. And it can give us the destruction of ignorance, right? We can see things. So sun is giving that to anyone and everyone of this world. But so similarly, the impersonalists or jnanis, actually, when they realize Brahman, they just get Brahmanand, that is like warmth from sunshine. They get the pleasure of realization of Atma. And their ignorance is dispelled, that I am not this body, I am spirit. But they remain indifferent to the sun. Okay, so I hope it is clear that sun to everyone without discrimination gives warmth or heat and light. So similarly, the Supreme Lord gives the jnanis the Brahmanand, and he gives them destruction of ignorance. But these jnanis remain indifferent to the Supreme Lord, who is like sun. Whereas a devotee of sun, whether he is blind or he has vision, so what he knows is that sun god is having chariot, he has form, he has hands, legs, etc. Even from this planet, Prabhupada is saying, the devotee of sun god, even though devoid of eyesight, or he may have it, can see the sun god as he is, because he's devotee of sun. Even from this planet, he can see the sun, right? He knows it is not just a globe, it's a chariot. There is sun god sitting there. He has a form and 80,000 sages are being addressed by him. Whereas one who is non-devotee of sun cannot even bear the glaring sunlight. Similarly, by devotional service, even though one is not on the level of Jnani, one can see the personality of Godhead within himself due to his development of pure love. So this is what is the glory of Bhakta or Bhakti. When Bhakti is sitting here, we can see and experience the sun god, although we cannot directly see. So in all circumstances, one should try to develop love for God, and that will solve all contending problems. So this is what actually is Chatushloki fourth. Sarvatra Sarvada, right? Rite Artham Yat Pratiyeta, Na Pratiyeta Chatmani. Not that one, sorry. Tad Etavadeva Jidnyasam, Tattva Jidnyasunatmana, Anvaya Vyatirekabhyam Yatsyat Sarvatra Sarvada. So in all times and all circumstances, one should try to develop love for the Lord. How? Etavadeva Jidnyasam. One should go on inquiring till the time he develops love for God, or he understands what is love of God. Right? So that's what is being said here. He's quoting. So that's how the same Supreme Lord is experienced differently by different people, like Gyanis or this. Although the same Supreme Lord is being actually exchanging affection with anyone and everyone, including atheists, what to speak of Gyanis. So that's what is told in this particular verse as an instruction. Now last verses, text 43. Yeah, please read the translation. Who is that? Next. Haribol.
Section 2.
By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before, by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom. And the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything.
Yeah. So, see, by my instructions, you will generate everything. Don't worry. You will not forget. Your concern was, no, you prayed that you should not forget the Vedas. The third request, your body will be filled with Vedas. So don't worry, you will not forget Vedas. So like that, Lord is promising him. And then text 44. Yeah, please read the translation.
The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand, the primal Lord, the personality of Godhead, in his personal form as Narayana disappeared.
Yeah, so Lord disappeared. Tasma evam jagat srishti pradhana purusheshwara. Yajedam svena rupena kanchanabhis tirodadhe. Tirodadhe means he left. Personality of Godhead Narayana left. Right? So that's how, see, this is what I was telling, that there is Chatushloki here also. That's why I was mentioning Chatushloki. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti gives opinion of some devotees that what? In the first day of Brahma Kalpa, Lord recited the four essential Bhagavatam verses, starting with Ahameva Sameva Agri. This is the number. In the Padma Kalpa, which is the current, the Lord also taught four verses, four essential verses in the form of 32, 33, 41 and 42 of this chapter. Right? So just now the verse which we saw, 41 and 42. So the 42nd verse which we discussed about, Lord is instructing. So that is also, these four verses are also considered Chatushloki by some devotees. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of 3rd canto, 9th chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Brahmaji's Prayer for Creative Energy. Yes. So now we'll begin with the next chapter. So Krishna willing, we desire to end. As such, I told that now next two chapters, there is a description of time and creations, various creations. So that's what is the subject matter. So let us begin with that. First, show you the summary of the chapter. Yeah, you are able to see this 10th chapter. Okay, so 10th, 11th, 12th are connected to each other. So what is there in chapter 10 predominantly is there are two types of creation, Prakrita and Vaikrita. So that is the subject matter. I'll just read the summary of this. In 10th chapter, the 10 types of bodies produced by dividing elements starting with Prakriti and the general characteristic of time are described. So 10 types of creations produced and general characteristic of time. These two things are the subject matter of this chapter. Okay. What is the purpose? Actually, he wants to describe time only. So time and place are very closely related. So that's what is the subject matter of this chapter. So 10 types of creation have two types in it. That is 6 are type of Prakrita and 4 are type of Vaikrita. Or let us say 3 plus 1. So Prakrita is nothing but that which is created by Prakriti, that is created from Prakriti, that is Sarga, that is created by Lord. And Vaikruta is something which is created by Brahma. Okay. So that's what is Prakrita and Vaikruta. So first 10 verses are Vidura's inquiry. Vidura inquires further, what happened after that? After Lord left, what happened? Then Maitreya replies how Brahmaji again did tapasya, and then he again, there was water moving him. He was little bit perturbed, but because of his, again he did tapasya, his empowerment, then he drank the water, everything. Then he could see the lotus, and they broke the lotus into 14 planetary systems, etc. So that's how he told what happened after that. And then in the next 10th verse, there is a question again by Vidura. But please tell me about time. And then brief description of time is there in this chapter, 10th chapter. Or I would say the Samanya Lakshanas of time, general characteristic of time. And then there is 14 to 30 is 10 types of creation. The 6 Prakrita, 3 Vaikruta, and 1 special, which is combined. Okay? So that is from Prakrita creation is from 14 to 17, which is the creation of Maya. So the first 5 and the 6th. So there are two different things. So please note these are important. First 5 are real and 6th is creation of avidya. And then Vaikruta, there are 4 types of bodies we know. Right? The plants or trees, the animals, humans, and demigods. Right? So these 4 types of Brahmaji has created these 4 kinds of bodies for the living entities. So that is from 18 to 29. Then there is elaborate description of time or the Sukshma Lakshanas of time in the 11th chapter, which we'll discuss tomorrow. And then there is elaboration of Vaikruta. So that's what is the context now. So the point is from 8th chapter onwards, it's all going in a sequence. What is how Brahmaji is doing things. Right? So that's what is this chapter. Right? So let us go to the chapter now. So as I told, in 10th chapter, in order to answer inquiries about time, the divisions of time, so this was asked about in this verse. 10 types of creations are described. Also inquiry about category of living beings and their generations and subdivisions. That also is answered. So see, Vidura had asked so many questions, right, in the 7th chapter. So now he is answering one by one. So that's how the link is given here. Note down what is the context. So now what happened after Lord? So Vidura is asking, Antarhit Vidura Uvacha, Antarhite Bhagavati Brahmaloka Pitamaha Rajaha Sasarja Katidha Dehikairmanasir vibhuhu. Please read.
Sri Vidura said, O great sage, please let me know how Brahma, the grandfather of the planetary inhabitants, created the bodies of the living entity from his own body and mind after the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. Yes. You can read text 2 also quickly. Question is supposed to be text 2 translation.
O greatly learned one, kindly eradicate all my doubts and let me know of all that I have inquired from you from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. So he is kind of saying, I am just indicating one question to you. I hope you remember I asked many questions in 7th chapter, right? So please eradicate all those questions and all that I have inquired from you because you are capable. Yachame Bhagavan Prashtas. Bhagavan, this Bhagavan is addressed to Maitreya with great respect. Bahuvittama, you are really known, so you can answer. So please answer all the questions. So this very amazing purport Prabhupada says that actually Maitreya remembered all the questions which he has asked. Right? There are so many questions from 3, 7, 23 to 38. So here is a very important statement for all of us who are doing Bhakti Vaibhava, who are going to preach Krishna consciousness and Bhagavatam and everything else. One must be confident about the qualification of his teacher. One should not approach a layman for replies to specific spiritual inquiries. So such inquiries, when replied to with imaginative answers by the teacher, are a program for waste of time. So how seriously Prabhupada is writing here, you see. So we should never imagine and speculate and give answer. Because what is going to happen if we answer like that? It's a program of wasting time. It will waste time for those who are hearing it and the person who give answer also. Because it's a imaginative answer. If you don't know, better you tell I don't know. And that is the best thing to do. So that is one side. Another side is one should inquire from right person who knows specifically the details. Right? So that way Prabhupada is saying. So this very essential point of that when today His Grace Sanat Kumar Prabhu began with this principle. Very brilliant Bhagavatam class he spoke in ISKCON NVCC. So he began that the culture of Bhagavatam or culture of glorifying Krishna is if someone asks some question to you, then if same question has been asked earlier, that's what is being quoted by them. That's the culture. You don't answer it. Just as Narada himself is being quoted by, here, what is going on. Parikshit is asking Shukdev. So Shukdev, who is Goswami, is quoting Narada. That's the culture. So we don't speculate what to speak of. We don't even answer. If same question is asked, we answer the answer which is given by the previous authorities. So that's what. Otherwise, what is? It's a program of wasting time. And it's a very serious warning, actually. And it's very important to satisfy the inquiries also. So that's what you can see. This is 11.3.21. Tasmat Gurum Prapadyeta Jidnyasu Shreyamattam. That very verse being said here. If the teacher does not have this quality, are able to answer the question, the faith of the disciple will become weak. And it will not be able to destroy the doubts of disappointed disciple. So he should be capable of as well as realizing the law. So of course, this is spoken for a spiritual master, but the same principle can be held as what Prabhupada is saying. So text 3, please read the translation. Sud Goswami said.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Sutta Goswami said, O son of Bhrigu, the great sage Maitreya Muni, thus hearing from Vidura, felt very much enlivened. Everything was in his heart. And thus he began to reply the questions one after another.
Yeah. So this was the power of Maitreya Muni, that he remembered all questions. Hridisthan atha bhargava. So many things were asked. So he was remembering that. So now he starts answering. Text 4. Please read the translation.
The greatly learned sage Maitreya said, O Vidhur, Brahma thus engaged himself in penances for 100 celestial years, as advised by personality of Godhead, and applied himself in devotional service to the Lord.
Yeah. So see, after he did before tapasya also, and then he got darshan, and then the Lord answered him, encouraged him, and again he engaged in tapasya. Of course, this tapasya is bhakti. This tapasya is not avoiding something or like that. So that's what so Prabhupada says that only. There is no retirement in the service, which is eternal and ever encouraging. So this highest penance is engagement in bhakti. So he was engaged in bhakti, not just so to say tapasya. Yeah, please read text 5. Who is next? Text.
Thereafter, Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was situated and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to a strong, violent wind.
Yeah. So tad vilokya abja sambhuto vayuna yad adhisthita. Vayu, so much of wind. Padma ambhascha tat kala kritaveryena kampitam. So because of it was time of pralaya, right? So there were so many waves in the ocean and the wind. So he was completely moving, very much disturbed by that pralaya time waters. Of course, this disturbance was not creating disturbance within. Without there was disturbance. So we'll see that in the next verse. But Prabhupada writes very beautiful point here. In essence, he says that in the material, one who is engaged in the Lord's service in the material world maybe sometimes be very much disturbed by awkward circumstances. But he will not be victimized by Maya. Why? Because Brahmaji was sufficiently strong by the mercy of the Lord. He received the causeless mercy of Lord. Right? So although he was anxiety ridden, although he was very much perturbed by the external situations, but he was not victimized. So, Prabhupada says here that there is a declaration of war between two parties. So, Prabhupada writes elsewhere also. And bhakti means declaration of war against Maya. So, in war, what is going to happen? It will be all, there will be disturbances, anxieties, even wounds, but we will not get victimized if we remain strong in our practices, especially sadhana, seva, sambandha. And by receiving, we can receive causeless mercy of it. So we will not be victimized by the Maya. Victimized means not getting fully affected. Like today, Prabhuji was saying that if we take help from devotees at right time, then we will not cross Lakshman Rekha. Otherwise, we think that, okay, I can deal with my problems my own. But we don't know where is Lakshman Rekha on. So that's why it's very important. The causeless mercy of Lord comes through devotees, the spiritual masters. Right? So victimization will happen when we cross the boundary in our war with Maya. We will get affected, we will get wounded, we will get disturbed, but not victimized. So elsewhere also Prabhupada says that the fight will go on, but the fight has to be in a right spirit and with the help of other who are fighting. Right? So that is important. Otherwise, there is no hope that we can not be victimized. Because Maya's service is to make us victim. This her thankless task is that one. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. So although it may give him anxiety when it managed to totter the existence of his position. So similarly, Actually, same thing Prabhupada writes in 2.9, that every one of us is like Brahma sitting on lotus. So there will be so many disturbances in our position and in this world. So there will be a lot of shaking of that will happen because of some winds of different. The winds can be of tritap, winds can be of some issues in the relationships, winds can be of some issues of disease. So many winds can come. Issue or winds of something happening in the community where we stay. So many winds can come. The winds can be internal. Our faith is shaken, our body is shaken, our mind is shaken, our intelligence, some philosophical doubt is coming, like Yudhishthir is getting now. So many kind of shaking can happen. But we have to take shelter of Lord and his devotees. Then we will not. So path of bhakti, as is told, that it is Shurasya dhara nishita duratteya. Durgam patastat kavayo vadant. It is walking on a razor's edge. So we have to be extremely careful. If it is not careful, it will cut. So like that. Or koti kantaka karuddha. So the path of bhakti, although it is auspicious, there are koti kantakas of our ulterior motivations and so many things of us, others, anything. So we have to be very careful. I think, yeah. So that is what is told here in this war. So text 6, yeah. Please read the translation.
Long penance and transcendental knowledge of self-realization had matured Brahma in practical knowledge, and thus he drank the wind completely along with the water.
Very bold. The cause of disturbance. Na rahega bas, na bajik basuri. The wind and the water, everything, goop, he just drank it, that's all. How he could do that? Because tapasa he edhamanena vidyaya cha atma samsthaya vivruddha vijnana balo. Is vivruddha vijnana bal. The deep, like vijnana is translated as practical knowledge. His increased matured practical knowledge and his increased transcendental knowledge. Edhamana is increasing. Edhamana madappaman. Vidyaya. So this vidya here means mantra vidya. So he was given Kam Gayatri also. So he, with that vidya, increasing meditation on that and his practical knowledge. So that's how it is. By which he got empowerment to just gulp the whole thing. Just finished. Problem is solved in a second because of Lord's empowerment and his approach. He's taking shelter of Lord's instructions. So, from the Brahma down to this age, the living entities are struggling with the forces of material nature. Right? Struggle for existence. Is the name of the game in this world. It is a game where you just keep on playing, but you can never win. That is struggle for existence, as told by His Holiness Chandramouli Maharaj. So people will try to control manipulate so many things of this world, like scientists and all. But their control of material nature is to exploit. But real control of matter can come when one becomes devotee. So such control of material energy, however, can be most successfully carried out if one is soul surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and carries out his order in the spirit of loving transcendental self. So he could control such pralay waves. Can you imagine? So Prabhupada is indicating that so many people are trying to control and manipulate material energy. If you want to really do that, no? So he is saying, you surrender to the Lord, you can control matter at the highest stage and carry out his order. Then you can control and manipulate the matter. And of course, when one surrenders, then he will not manipulate, or he will manipulate matter to serve Krishna. Right? So Prabhupada very nicely says that actually there is a theory of survival of fittest. But where is the question of the fittest? The fittest also doesn't survive. So what is this theory? It's useless theory of a monkey person, monkey's lineage. survival of fittest. Even the fittest cannot survive in the material world. So he says that we have to know who is the fittest actually and how to survive in this world. By taking shelter of who is fittest, we can really survive and we can happily struggle in this world while engaging in devotional service. So war will go on, but one will be happily fighting with Maya, right? Because he is in association of devotees, practicing bhakti, exchanging affection with devotees, and sharing that with others, right? So that's how he says survival of fittest is a misnomer. So text 7. Yeah, please read the translation.
Thereafter, he saw that the lotus on which he was situated was spread throughout the universe, and he contemplated how to create all the planets which were previously merged in that very same lotus.
Yeah. So see, as I told, this Padma Kalpa is called Padma Kalpa because lotus again manifests. So now he saw the entire lotus again. Because earlier it had all planetary systems, but after 50 years it goes back. It kind of annihilated. So now he saw the whole lotus, but it is not broken into the 14 planetary systems, right? In the lotus. So that's what he is going to do. So he saw it now. Earlier he was not able to see anything, right? Only wind is moving and he was sitting and wind and water was affecting him. But now he started seeing things and he had contemplated earlier. So now he saw that. So Prabhupada tells that also that the seeds of all the planets in the universe were impregnated in the lotus in which Brahmaji was situated. All the planets were already generated by the Lord and all the living entities were also born in Brahma. So what does this mean? It's like, the blueprint of creation is already made by the Lord. So that is there now in a zipped condition or prototype form. And all the jivas are also there along with Brahma. That is called Vairaj Brahma. Hiranyagarbha Brahma, the collective jivas. Right? And the best jiva becomes Brahma. So this was explained in 3rd canto 8th chapter. So the collective jivas. So this is all there. He has jivas and he has the prototypes. Now he has to use that and actually make the bodies. Right? So this is what is his service. So the real creation is therefore called Sarga, and later on manifestation by Brahma is called Visarga. Just like the building's blueprint is created by the original engineer, but the construction is done by the construction workers, right? So that is like that analogy. Sarga is done by the Supreme Lord. Visarga is done by Brahma. That which is already created, he actually creates in grosser way. From blueprint to the actual factual matter. So text 8, yeah, please read translation.
Thus, engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Brahma entered into the whole of lotus. As he spread all over the universe, he divided into 3 divisions of worlds, and later into 14 divisions.
Yeah. Padma Kosham Tadavishya. So he entered by Bhagavat Karma Choditaha, inspired by the Supreme Lord. Then he cut into 3, that is Bhur, Bhuvaswa, and then he cut into 40. So that's how he started. He made homes, different homes for different people. So now one may ask that why Brahma Loka is also not created after every kalpa. So that is told in the next verse. So text 9. एतावज्जीवलोकस्य संस्थाभेदः समाहृतः धर्मस्य यः निमित्तस्य विपाकः परमेष्ठसौ.
Lord Brahma is the most exalted personality in the universe because of his causeless devotional service unto the Lord in mature transcendental knowledge. He therefore created all 14 planetary divisions for inhabitation by the different types of living entities.
Sound is coming. Yeah. So now what he did, his samstha bhedaha samavrita. So he created different situations, but he didn't have any personal motive. So that's what is told in this one. Dharmasya hi animitasya vipakaha parameshthasam. So Parameshthi is Brahma. So Brahmaji created all this. But his creation is different than creation of human beings. When human being creates, then he has a desire to create, to fulfill some desire through that creation. But Brahmaji's case is not that. Animittas. But he, as a duty, without any ulterior motive, he did this samstha bheda, which we saw in the previous verse, right? So that's what is told in this. The 14 planetary systems are created by him. But this is all he did without any desire. His only desire was to serve the Lord. So the conditioned souls in the material world reflect only part of those qualities. And therefore they are called as Pratibimba. So this is another meaning of Samstha Veda. Pratibimba. So Lord is having all the qualities, 64 qualities. And Shiva has minute qualities. So he reflects the quality. So that is another meaning of this word. So different living entities have different extent of qualities. So that's why there are different places where they can be accommodated. That's what is told. So these Pratibimba living entities and part and parcels of the Supreme Lord have inherited different proportions of his original quality. And in terms of their inheritance of these qualities, they appear as different species of life and are accommodated in different planets according to plan of Brahma. Right? So according to, if you see three modes, Tamo Guni, Rajo Gun and Sattva Gun, predominantly. Right? So they inherit little qualities. So this is what is told in this. So Jiva Goswami and both of them are telling, see, this already I told that he didn't have any motive like a person creates. So as I was telling that there are 14 planetary systems, right? But in that, actually, at the end of Brahmaji's day, that is Kalpa, generally only the 3 worlds are actually made to be annihilated. Okay? At the end of Brahmaji's day. That is a general, at the end of the day, the 3 worlds, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa. But not the Janaloka, Maharloka, Satyaloka, and those 4 lokas, upper lokas. They are not destroyed actually. Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So they are not destroyed. But in this particular time, they are not destroyed means what? The living entities there also, they remain there. But only in this Padma Kalpa, the living entities along with Brahma, they go to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So now they were also not there in the sense of their location and the living entity. So 4 upper lokas are Naishkamasya Dharma Vipaka. So they are completely Nishkam. They don't have any desire. That's how they, at the end, they will go back to God. Whereas the 3 lokas are Karma Vipak. Kamya Karma Phalatvat. So that is called these 3 words. So their living entity rotates because of his karma. As we know that Kshine Punne Martyalokam Mishanti, etc. So that's what is told in this particular verse that he made. Now, having answered what happened after Lord left, Brahmaji made all that. Now, suddenly Vidura asks about time. So, and Maitreya answers in 3 verses general characteristics of time. So, as I told, there are 2 characteristics of time. One is Samanya Lakshan and one is Sukshma Lakshan. So, Samanya Lakshanas are told in this chapter, in these 3 verses. And the Sukshma Lakshanas of time are told in the next chapter, 3.11. Right? So, the link here is, although he has heard about time, Vidura, in so many different verses, having forgotten the Lord's efforts, creation and destruction are accomplished by time, Vidura asks about time. Please exactly describe time that you have mentioned. That is the question in the 10th verse. Please exactly describe the time. Yatha Vidura Uvacha Yathatha Bahurupasya Harera Adbhuta Karmanaha Kalakhyam Lakshanam Brahman Yatha Varnayana Prabho. Yeah, please read the translation.
Vidura inquired from Maitreya, O my lord, O greatly learned sage, kindly describe eternal time, which is another form of the Supreme Lord, the wonderful actor. What are the symptoms of that eternal time? Please describe them to us in detail.
Yeah, Yathatha. Please tell, as you have told earlier, because Kalakhyam, Bahurupasya. So this time takes so many different forms like an actor. And he is Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha, means through the time Hari does Adbhuta Karmana in this world. Astonishing activities, wonderful activities. And it is called Kala. Please tell the symptoms of that. And please tell in detail. What are the symptoms of that eternal time? And tell that eternal time. That's the question. So Prabhupada elaborately tells about how this, see, so there is something called, see, relative time, and there is something called absolute time or eternal time, you can see here. So that's what Prabhupada explains in this and the next verses now. Because everything has connection with time in the material world, because it acts as creator, maintainer, and destroyer, right? So everything all is under control of Supreme Lord in his form of time. Everything from small to big. That's what he says. From atomic dissolution to universal dissolution. That is controlled by time. There is a time for annihilation of body of human being, and there is a time for annihilation of universal body. So, Pinde Tatha Brahmande, we say, no, what Vyashti and Samashti. Whatever happens in our body, similar thing happens in the universal body. So that's why, and everything depends on time. Everything is fixed. If you see, the time, the outward times are fixed. The 4 yugas are fixed. The kalpas are fixed. The manvantaras are fixed. And the parardhas are fixed. So actually, things are set by the Lord. But in between, living entities have some free will to try to enjoy in this world. Right? So that's what is being said here. Vidura wanted to know in detail the different physical manifestation and their times of annihilation. Manifestations and annihilations. So this is what he wanted to ask. So these are the general samanya symptoms of time are described here. Now the next 3 verses will describe the characteristics of the time. 6 characteristics. And detail will be in the next chapter. That is Paramanu, Param Mahan. What Prabhupada is writing here, the time for atomic dissolution and time for universal dissolution. Right? This is Paramanu and Param Mahan. Like that. This is all there in the 11th chapter. So text 11. Now the symptoms of time. Maitreya Uvacha Gunavyatikara Karo Nirvishesho Pratishtitah Purushasthadupadanam Atmanam Leelaya Srijat. Yeah, please read the translation.
Maitreya said, eternal time is the primeval source of the interactions of the 3 modes of material nature. It is unchangeable and limitless, and it works as the instrument of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pastimes in the material creation.
Yeah, for pastimes in material creation means what? Sushti Leela. For Sushti Leela, the time is the instrument. Tad Purushaha Tad Upadanam. So Lord personally doesn't come here as Bhagavan. He expands as Paramatma and he glances. So, and in that glance, there is a time which agitates the Prakriti. Because the Prakriti has the 3 modes. In state of Pradhan, it is completely unagitated. But when Guna Vyatikara Akara means what? That which agitates the modes, or Gunakshobhaka. The interactions of modes of material start So that is the first definition of time, because that's the beginning of the time of material world, the glance of Mahavishnu. So Kala, Karma, Jiva, Swabhava, these all come in Prakriti, the impregnation. So that is called first characteristic of time, that which agitates the three modes. Okay, what is the another characteristic? Samanya Lakshan, Nirvishesha. It has no particular personality or attributes like a person. It's impersonal. Time, can you see time or can you describe the time in the sense of personality? No, it has no diversity, no particular attributes. That is Nirvishesha. And Apratishtitaha means it has no beginning, no end. That's why you say Prabhupada using the word eternal time. Right? So there is eternal time, absolute time, and there is relative time, which will be explained in the purport. Right? So these are the three characteristics. And of course, he is an instrument. Then we can take that as a fourth, the Lakshana of the time. So he is agitator of three modes. He is without any diversity. So I think that will be explained in the next verse. What do you mean by Nirvishesh? We will see there. Apratishtita means it has no beginning or end. It's just happening. The material world gets created, again get destroyed, again get created, again get destroyed. Or one yuga goes, other comes, other again 4 yuga cycles go on. So it's just eternally things are happening. Yes, creation, maintenance, destruction, creation, maintenance, destruction, like that. So that's how it is eternal. Apratishta, it's unlimited, it's happening. So that is what is the verse explaining the 4 characteristics of the time. And it is, so 4th characteristic is what is called as efficient cause. So efficient cause with 3 adjectives. So Lord created universe, that is Srishti Leela, with the help of time, which has 3 qualities: Guna Vyatikarakara, Nirvisheshaha, Apratishthitaha, as an efficient cause, that is Upadana Atmanam. So that is what is the meaning of this verse. So Prabhupada explains all these terminologies, which I already explained. So Lord is an impersonal feature of Lord. No one knows where it began and it ends, etc. But in this world, we try to measure time by so many things, by the various ways. But it is all relative. It's all relative, right? Whatever you say, it's all relative. So Prabhupada gives example of Hebrew and all. But absolute time is a continuous and it is unaffected by the speed or the slowness of material things. So the absolute time or eternal time has nothing to do with this, the speed here. The relative time appears to have difference, but the absolute time remains unaffected. So we have this Brahmalok where the time goes differently than earthly planet, right? We know different pastime that Indradimna Raja had gone up and then he returned, then here nothing was there, right? So there is relativity here in the material world, but the absolute time is completely unaffected by all that. It is just continuing. So time is astronomically and mathematically calculated in relation to speed, change, and life of a particular object. So you can do some relative calculation of time. But can you do something about it? No. By putting the watch, can you control the time? No, we just can't do it. Even if the watch stops working, time doesn't stop working. So time is a basic measurement of activity of our senses by which we calculate past, present, and future. So this is relative time, by which we past, present, future we calculate. But in factual calculation, time has no beginning and end. So what is this? This is called eternal time. It has no beginning or end. But relative time is connected to activity of our senses. So that's how Prabhupada quite technically explains this. And quotes Jiva Goswami. That Jiva Goswami says, this time is controlled by external energy of Lord. Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharaj. So this time factor is intermixed with activities, actions and reactions. So karma, So see, there is Lord, he glances, that is time, on Prakriti. Prakriti gets agitated. So three modes act, karma happens, and the jiva is inflicted. So that's how it is hierarchy. So that's what he is saying here, that how Lord is having the time as an instrumental cause. He is not directly involved in this material world. Like, so now the two adjectives are told. The next verse is going to tell how it is nirvishesh. Nirvishesh means it has no attributes, it has no personality, but it does act. So how it acts? So it is like separating the material world from the Lord. So that is what is told in the 12th verse. You can see. Vishwam vai brahma tanmatram samsthitam vishnumayaya ishwarena parichinnam kalena bhaktamurtina. Yeah, this is the translation. Next. The cosmic manifestation is separated from the Supreme Lord as material energy by means of Kala, which is the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Lord. It is situated as the objective manifestation of Lord under the influence of same metal energy of Vishnu. So what is mentioned here is, see, Vishwam vai Brahma Tanmatra. So this material world is also Supreme Lord, but it is different than Supreme Lord, like Achintya Bheda. But how it is different? That differentiation happens by time. Ishwar, Parichinna. Parichinna means you separate something from the person, right? So just as Prabhupada gave example, he gives in this purport also, that Prabhupada gave some lecture and you recorded it. So by recording, what is happening is, we are separating the Prabhupada's Vani from him. And now that Vani is now also available. So similarly, this material world is non-different than Lord. But when Lord glanced on the material, Prakriti, then by use of time, he separated that material energy from him. Just like a recorded voice of a person is separated from him. Right? So the material world became separated. Like we say, na, Bhinna Prakriti Rashtadha. It is separated. So what is that? That separation is happening by intervention of time. So that is what is told here. Ishwarena Parichinnam Kalena Abhyaktamurtim. So by the Supreme Lord, for the sake of control of the material world, he is not personally involved directly, but through Kala, which is Avyakta Murti, which is unmanifested or invisible form of the Lord, the material world becomes separated from the Lord, although it is one with the Lord, or rather it was before like that. So that is what is the meaning of this verse. And this material world is Samsthitam Vishnu Maya. So Vishnu Maya, or external energy of the Lord, is fully in control of this world under the direction of time and the Supreme, the Bhagavan, right? Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shakti Rekha, Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga, Ichha Naropima Yasya Chacheshtati Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja. So this principle of separating things have by this time is what is the meaning of this verse, and this time is completely invisible, but it is always active. So how it is nirvishesh, that is what is told. Nirvishesh means what? It doesn't have attributes, it doesn't have personality, it doesn't have any particular qualities, but still it is efficient cause of Lord by which the material world separates. Right? And Lord still remains in control of material world through impersonal time. So that's what is told here. So this example which I gave is already given by Prabhupada. If you see, and you can read that. The material manifestation is therefore the objective manifestation of the Supreme Lord, and it exhibits his impersonal feature, so much adored by impersonalist philosophers. So that is what Avyakta Murti is told. So Avyakta Murti is what is appreciated by the impersonalist. But devotees are able to see the Bhagwan and want to serve and love Bhagwan and go to their abode. Right? But impersonalists, they want to merge in Brahman. So that's what. So this already I explained. It appears to be something else beyond or besides the Lord. So material world. Idam hi Vishwam is quoting how material world is same but different. This is the verse. So manifested world is self, same personality of Godhead, but it appears to be something else. See, it's contradictory things, right? It is self-same, but it appears to be. But it appears so because of its being separated from the Lord by time. It's something like a tape recorded voice of a person who is now separated from the voice. So like that, the material world is separate. So now someone may say that, okay, you are saying that material world is, because universe has a beginning and end, then it is unreal. How can you divide something which is unreal? If someone asks this question, especially the impersonalist. So it is unreal, right? So this is very important concept coming in here. What is real and what is unreal? Because our philosophy is not Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. But our philosophy is not that this material world is all in all. This one is extreme is the materialism, and other extreme is impersonalism. But our is not Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, and our philosophy is not that this material world is all in all. No, material world is illusory and temporary. But what is real and what is illusory in this material world is clarified in next two verses. So that has to be clearly understood. So that's what Sudarshan is saying. Apratishtitam darshayitum. How the time has no beginning and end is shown. So yathedanim tathagrecha paschade patitadrisham. Yeah, please read the translation.
The cosmic manifestation is as it is now. It was the same in the past, and it will continue in the same way in the future.
Yeah, so it is not that it is unreal. It was happening, it is happening, it will be again coming back. So it is not the, as Mayavadi say, that is unreal. It is happening regularly in the sequence. Same thing is again and again happening. So how it can be unreal? If the Supreme Lord is real, so therefore systematic activities of time factor are perpetual. So creation, maintenance, and eternal, and cannot be stated to be false. The manifestation is temporary and occasional, but it is not false as claimed by the Mayavadi philosophers. Right? So that's what the systematic activities of time factor are perpetual. So when you say something is temporary, doesn't mean it is unreal. It is real, but it is temporary. And there is illusory nature also. So what is that? You will see. So now he starts telling about the creation. So he has told about the time now in a very samanya lakshanas are told. Now he will tell the creation. Why he is telling the creations now? Now it just we'll go through just verses, but understand what is the context here, because the rest of the chapter is just the list of different creations, right? So why it is being told here? Yeah. So please read this link. Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Link. Having described time in general, Samanya, Maitreya will describe time in detail, Visheshataha Sukshma Lakshmana, in the next chapter. For that purpose, the creation which was previously described in detail, Srimad Bhagavatam 3.5.22 to 36, is again discussed in summary for easy understanding. 10 types also. For the same purpose of discussing time, 3 types of destruction are listed. 3 types.
Yeah. So now why is diverting his attention to explaining different types of creation? Because he wants to explain Sukshma nature of time. But that Sukshma nature cannot be described unless you tell about the creations of this world. So that's why, for that purpose, so he want to tell about time in detail. But to tell time in detail, first he has to tell what is created when it gets annihilated. So that's how he is repeating something which he has already said previous. But for what purpose now? Context is he want to explain about time. So very quick, just one verse telling about. So there are 6 types of prakrita or sarga, 6 types of sarga, or 6 different creations which happen in sarga by the Supreme Lord, and 4 types of visarga or vaikruta. So that is his purpose, to give a summary, and his purpose is I want to explain time in detail. So this is one purpose. Second thing, not just creations, but 3 types of destructions are also listed for the same purpose of discussing time. Because the time in this material world is very closely related with the systematic activities of creation, maintenance, and destruction. That's why these things are being summarized now for easy understanding. So now we will go through this creation. But before that, just we will see one slide as to what is real and what is unreal in this material. Right? So you see this is what is the summary. Yeah. So you are seeing this creation. So okay, or maybe this comes in one purport of Srila Prabhupada. Maybe that time we'll see. I think that time it will be easier. So let us go now. So 14th, text 14. Sargo navavidhastasya prakruto vaikrutastu yaha kaladravya gunairasya trividah pratisankramaha. Yeah, please read.
Translation. There are 9 different kinds of creations besides the one which naturally occurs due to interaction of the modes. There are 3 kinds of annihilations due to eternal time, the material elements and the quality of one's mode.
Yeah. So what it is telling? Sargo navavidhastasya prakruto vaikrutastuya. So actually the creation has 9 types. But in that there are 6 are prakrut and 3 are vaikrut. And the 10th one is prakrut and vaikrut mixed. That's why you will see here why 9 is said, why not 10? Because one is mixed, that's why it is called 9. Okay. So it is tasya prakruta vaikruta. Kala dravya gunairasya trividah pratisankrama. So pratisankrama means annihilation. So there are 3 types of annihilation, and there are 9 types, 9 plus 1 types of sarga. So you see there are 9 different kinds of creation besides 1. Means what? 9 plus 1. Right? So 10. So 10 kinds of creation and 3 kinds of annihilation. Trividah pratisankram. What are their names? Kala, Dravya, Gunairas. So Kala, Dravya, so this destruction is, one destruction happens after death, the destruction of the body because of karma. So that is called Gunair. Okay. Gunair, or element, the qualities of one's work, as Prabhupada says. So one leaves this material body because of karma, because of the qualities of one's work. That is one destruction of the body. The destruction of dravya, or all the matter which happens, that is the which pralaya? That is naimittik pralaya. So naimittik pralaya happens at the end of day of Brahma. And the kala is prakritik pralaya, which happens at the end of Brahma's life. So these 3 are different types of destruction. And what are 9 plus 1 types of creation will be told in the upcoming verses. So as I told, that's what Prabhupada is telling. The scheduled creations and annihilation takes place in terms of supreme will. Later, these will be more explicitly explained. At present, only preliminary information is given. So this already I told. So now starting with this verse, the rest of the chapter is a description of various creations. So just read the translations and then we'll go to the slide. So now, as I told, the first 5 creations, first 6 are Prakruta, right? Prakruta means created by the Supreme Lord. So in that there are 5 plus 1. So 5 are real and the 6th one creates unreality. So let us see what it is. आद्यस्तु महतः सर्गो गुणवैषम्यमात्मनः द्वितीयस्त्वमहं यत्र द्रव्यज्ञानक्रियोदयः. Please read the translation.
The 9 creations. The first one is the creation of Mahat, for the material ingredients. When the presence of Supreme Lord, then the false ego is generated in material activities.
Yeah, somehow voice is not clear, but okay, fine, no problem. We have limited time. So point is, the first 2 sargas are creation of Mahat Tattva and Ahamka. That's the essential. What is the next? Please read the next translation. Now, I would request only one person to read the rest of the chapter because we have very less time. Our time goes in this one. Okay, only one person can read the rest of the chapter because there is nothing much to discuss. Discussion will come in the slide. Yes.
The sense perceptions are created in the third creation, and from these elements are generated. The fourth creation is creation of the knowledge and of working capacity.
Yeah. So first was Mahat Tattva, then Ahankar, then Tanmatras, and then Indriyas, the senses, knowledge and working senses, etc. So fourth one. What is the fifth one? Yeah, please read.
The fifth creation is that of controlling deities by the interaction of the mode of goodness, of which the mind is the sum total. The sixth creation is the ignorant darkness of the living entity by which the master acts as a fool.
Yeah. So the fifth creation is what? The sense devatas, the controlling deities, like sun is controlling our eyes, right? So this is the fifth. So till here, everything is real. The 24 elements are getting created here. So this is real thing. But the sixth creation is what? Shashtastu tamasa sarva. So tamasa is ignorance, avidya. So avidya is created. So this avidya is what creates the unreality or the illusion in this material world. That's why what is said, yastu abuddhi kritaha prabhu. So prabhu becomes food by effect of this avidya. That is what is told here. So this avidya has 3 types. So you can see here Prabhupada explains. So the material nature therefore appears to function in 3 phases. Yes, as creative principle of material world, as ignorance, and as knowledge. So vidya, avidya, and pradhan. So pradhan means what? What we saw in the first 5 creations, that is the culmination. If you put them all together, 24 elements, that is called pradhan, the creative principle of material world, and that is real. But avidya is unreal, and that avidya is removed by vidya. So these are all 3 functions of Maya, right? So that is what is important to be understood here. And that's what I wanted to show in this slide, right? So see, the 6th creation is avidya. So let us understand what it is. So Maya has 3 vrittis, pradhan, avidya, and vidya. So pradhan is what? Material cause of this universe, which is the clay for the pot, right? So it's a real thing, it's not unreal. That is real and is Krishna's external energy. So it is called Adhishthan Maya. Whereas avidya is Adhishthatri Maya. And because of avidya, that 5 layers are created. So Brahmaji in 12th chapter will see that the 5 layers of avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh, or avarnatmika and prakshepatmika shakti, which Prabhupada says. This is all avidya. So this is unreal. Because the person is given some other designation, that is asmita, And then he becomes attached to things related to that designation, and he hates things which are not related to that designation, and he thus becomes absorbed in that abhinivesh. So this is all happening because of avidya. So this is all called klesha, which is unreal, which is not superfluous as Prabhupada says. But this unreality of perception and experience is removed by vidya. So that vidya is also adhishthatri maya. And how this vidya manifests? Through these four aspects. So that will come in the 12th chapter, right? But this vidya destructs avidya. Like for example, vairagya. So by cultivating vairagya, one can remove his avidya. Or cultivating yoga, sankhya, yoga, vairagya, tapasya. These are four potencies of vidya by which avidya is removed. So this is all under jurisdiction of maya. So the material world is composed of real and unreal, is produced by pradhana and avidya. And by vidya, one will able to see it in its right perspective. So this is what is told. And what we see in different verses of Bhagavad Gita is this one. So now let us go through just remaining verses, which is just a description. So what I think is, first I will show you the slides so that it will be very simple to grasp. So yeah, so Lord glances on both Adhishthan Maya and Adhishthatri Maya. What does that mean? Adhishthatri Maya is a personality which creates all the illusion, and Adhishthan Maya is her 24 elements by which she does that. So it's a matter as well as personality, right? So it is given in Bhagavad Gita, like apara itastvanya. So it is separated energy. So that is adhishthan. We know that verse, right? But bhinna prakriti rashtada. So that is matter. But daivi ehisha gunamaya, when Krishna says, that is this maya. Right? So it's both. So three types of discussion already I told. This is naimittic, and this is prakritik, and this is a death of the body. Now 6 types of sarga. So we saw that Mahat Tattva, Ahankar, Tanmatra, Indriya. Till here we saw Deva and Avidya, right? So this is what we read till now. So now rest of the chapter is this only. So this is what already little bit I told, not fully. But the rest of the chapter is this 3 types of visarga. So there are different types of species which are created. So immovable living entities, lower species, and human beings. So details are told, can see, and there are different types of them. So there are like the Tustusham is the trees. So there are 6 types in them. And then there are animals, Tirashcham. There are 28 types of animals. And there are human beings. And then there are demigods. Demigod is the next. So you can see that 28 types of animals. So what is told, how their food system works. So the trees are utsrotas. So their food goes from the root to up, upward nourishment, if you can say. And they are hardly conscious. But of course they are, it's not so conscious, right? And 6 kinds, they are these 6. And the animals have horizontal nourishment, and they never think about future. They just are absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And there are 28 types of different animals. 2 hood, 1 hood, 5 claws, birds, etc. And then there are human beings. There is downward nourishment from food to down. And they are passionate, and they think the distress to be happiness. That's how the human beings are defined here. So these 3 types, and 4 types is a demigods, which is not shown here. So this is what is there in the rest of the verses. Now with this overview, just read the translations and you will get an idea of what it is. There is nothing to be much discussed here. Yes, please read the translation.
All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creations by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion and who in the matter of creation has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So he has personality of Godhead like brain. Yeah. So now what he creates? See, read.
The seventh creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of six kinds: the fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no support, and trees with flowers and fruits.
Yeah. See, so precise description of types. Yeah. Please go ahead. So these are trees.
All the immovable trees and their subsistence upwards. They are almost unconscious, but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness.
Yeah. So utsrotas tamasatraya antasparsha vishesha. Right? I think yesterday Prabhupada was quoting Jagdish Chandra Bose did that experiment that they can feel the pain. Okay? So yeah, 21st. Yeah, please read translation.
The eighth creation is that of the different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know the desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart.
Yeah, so these are animals. Tirasha. 8 types of that. What are those 8 types? They are given in detail. Yeah, please read 27. Yes,
O purest Vidura, of the lower animals, the cow, goat, buffalo, Krishna stag, hog, Gavaya animal, deer, lamb, and camel all have cloven hooves.
Yeah, next.
The horse, mule, ass, gaura, sarabda, bishan, and wild cow will have only one hoof. Now you may hear from me about animals who have 5 nails. The dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, sajan, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, gosapa, etc. all have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as panchanakhas, or animals having 5 nails.
Yeah.
The heron, vulture, crane, hawk, bhasha, bhaluka, peacock, swan, saras, chakravak, crow, owl, and other are birds.
Yeah, so here the animal, the second type is over. Tirascha, the 28 types, and they are horizontal. So now the next is told about human beings. So very important. Arvastrotastu navamaha shattera kadavidha niram rajodhikaha karma para dukkhecha sukhamaninaha. Yeah, please read the translation.
The creation of the human beings who are of one species only and who stock their eatables in the belly is the ninth in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent. Humans are always busy in the midst of miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all respects.
Yeah, so that is the characteristic of a general human being given by Srila. Yeah, please read ahead. 27.
Oh, good Vidura, these last demigod, the 10th creation, are Vaikrita creations, different from the previously described Prakruta, natural creations. The appearance of the Kumaras is both.
Yeah. So see, now he said the demigods, right? The demigods are created. So now there are different demigods. So now the demigod creation is going to be told in the last 2 verses, with 28 and 29. But they are different than what were described previously. So you heard some prayers by demigods, right? The elemental demigods. So they are different. The sense devatas are different, which was explained in Prakruta, right? The sun god and all. The sense devatas, they are different. Now what devatas are being said? They are in Vaikruta, which Brahmaji creates, Gandharva, Apsara, etc. So they are different, like that is being told. And Kumara's creation is both. Both means Prakruta come Vaikruta, like that. So please read this.
The
creation of demigods?
The creation of the demigod is of 8 varieties. The demigods, the forefathers, the asura, the demons, the gandharvas and apsaras or angels, the yakshas and rakshasas, the Siddhas, Charanas, and Vidyadhars, the Bhutas, Pretas, and Pishachas, and the superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. All are created by Brahma, the creator of the universe.
Yeah, so this is Brahmaji created demigods, but there were earlier saints devatas. They are not created by Brahma because they were there before Brahma only, right? So that's what is being said. Yeah, 30th was.
Hare Krishna. How Asuras and Hare Krishna.
Just
Here it is.
complete this, then we'll come to question.
Okay.
Okay, now I shall describe the descent of the Manus. The creator Brahma, as the incarnation of the passion mode of the personality of Godhead, creates the universal affairs with unfailing desires in every millennium by the force of the Lord's energy.
Yeah, so now he is ending that. Yeah, I shall describe the descendants, the creation of Brahmana. So that's how this chapter ends. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of third canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Division of Creation. Yeah, so now as we didn't spend any time for any inquiries or questions, so now we may have some questions for some time. Maybe till, I don't know, till what time, Prabhu? In the sense of officially I'm asking. Or it's already 4:30 by that. So what Anuj Prabhu says, we can have till there also officially. And then you can happily proceed if you want to proceed. Prabhu is there?
Prabhuji, we can take for 5-10 minutes.
Okay, 5-10 minutes if they are there. So till then you can wait. Yeah, so yes, any questions, clarifications on what we discussed today? Now we have some time for that. Yes, Mataji was saying something.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yeah, abhi isi in this word translation, it is mentioned that demigods are creation. The types of demigods are asuras and demons and bhut prey. Then this the creation of demigods is of 8 varieties, and it is in that asuras and demons are there, and yaksha, gandharva, bhut, pretas, pishasa.
Yeah.
I did not understand.
Yeah, so actually, so when we say Devata or demigod, we have a particular conception that Devata means Surya, Chandra, Vayu, Agni, etc. Right?
Yes.
But here the understanding is they are different than human beings. They have different empowerment and the work. The human being is explained with characteristics, right? Mainly they are in Rajogun and they consider the Dukkha to be Sukha. Whereas these Devatas are better than that in that sense, right? But in that you will see that there are Yakshas, Rakshasas, and Asuras and all that. So that's how that's how the translation is. The conception of our Devata is not that what is explained here. They are in a different category of creation. That's how you can try to understand, because they have different powers, different lifespan, different, they all have different powers also, right? Isn't it? So, so just see them as a fourth type of creation. The first type was trees, animals, humans, and devatas. So these devatas include all the places other than earthly planet they are staying, right? So they are both sides. Now some asuras and yakshas, they might be staying down, right, in the lower planetary systems. Some are there in Swarga. So all the people there are the fourth type of creation. That way, in the context, we have to see. Okay.
Means these yakshas, bhutas, प्रेत वगैरह जो है वो human species के ऊपर क्या है ये नहीं रहता.
In one sense, they are upar ke, may not be necessarily in consciousness, but what capacities, abilities they have. That's why they are separately categorized here. Because why Brahmaji is doing all that is because he has jivas with different desires and he has this 14 planetary system. So he has to put them at different places according to their karma and their desires. Right? So that's why he is doing this arrangement. So that from there, wherever they are, they progress. Like that. That's the whole desire of Brahma. Does that give some understanding?
Okay, Guruji. Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else has anything else? Whatever we discussed today? Yes, Mata. Yes. Number Ashika, who is your Mata? Yes, you can unmute and it's not audible. Hare Krishna. Actually, sound nothing is audible.
Yeah, I can't hear Prabhuji.
Maybe you can type in chat box if possible. Then anyone else has any comment, question, clarification on what we discussed? These are technical chapters. This chapter, next chapter will be about time.
Prabhuji, Lord says to please him by Priti. How to do that, Prabhuji?
The instruction is telling Kuryat Priti, like that. So by trying to follow whatever he is saying, that in this context, reciting in the prayers which are recited by Brahmaji, in this context, because that will please the Lord. And reciting and understanding those prayers, and while rendering our services, we try to pray like Brahma, as we began discussion, right? What is Brahma praying? That give me right vision, give me right absorption while engaging in this, Rajoguni activities. Let my mind be fixed on your pastime, and then let me not forget the instructions while engaging in this service, because it's very vicious service. Anytime any living entity, vicious living entity can come and affect Brahma, right? Brahmaji's task is so. And lastly, asking more for glance and instructions. So that we can say Bhagavad Gita. The Lord has already instructed all of us in Bhagavad Gita, especially the 7 to 12 chapters, or more specifically, 9th chapter, which is pure devotional service. So that is personally given by the Supreme Lord, coming from his lotus mouth. So that we can consider as sweet instructions. So these 4 things we can try to practice as Brahmaji is teaching us in this context, to actually go closer to the Priti which Lord is saying. This is what some thoughts for me. Yes, Mother Shobha Lakshmi Mataji, maybe you can speak, or is it audible now? Now sound is coming. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Dandavad. Yes.
Prabhuji, in 28-29 verse, 8th point is the superhuman beings and celestial singers. What
Okay.
are superhuman beings? I mean, वो जो
That's
Superman और वो सब तो मतलब stories
superhuman means they are better than the previous creation of humans. That's what. That's why they are categorized differently. I think that's what Mataji was asking. This word is used there in the superhuman.
Yes,
In
what are its examples? And
oh, like that. Just
eight
a second. Yeah.
superhuman beings and celestial singers.
Yeah, just a second. Because 8 types of being, Devata creation of Brahma. Gandharvas and Apsaras are considered one. Yakshas and Rakshas are considered one. Bhutas and Pretas, Pishachas are one type. Siddhas and Charanas and Vidyadharas are one type. Kinnaras and others are one type. So Kinnaras, so superwoman is the last one, right? In Prabhupada, 8th one. This so celestial singers he is telling like Gandharvas.
Superhuman beings and celestial singers.
Yeah, are all created by Brahma. Kinnaras are one type. Actually, examples are not given at least in front of me right now. I will try to look at it and come back to you. Exactly what the 8 type means. Any examples of that? I currently am unaware about it. We'll come back to it. Yeah, yes, you have anything else? I think Mother Shobha Lakshmi Devi had something to say.
Prabhuji, if these bhutas and pishachas and all these they are not very high in consciousness, then why are we given the special ability?
Because of their previous karma and previous desire. See, this is all happening after every day of Brahma. So that's how he does. So it's all there. Based on their previous karma, they get body. And then they use it, then they get another body. So this is one incidence where it is told how it happens at that level of Brahma. So during day of Brahma also, they will have some transmigration. But current what is told that after end of Brahmaji's day, they just remained in the material world. And then they went back and again now they are manifesting from Brahma. So based on their karmic background and their aspirations, they are given a particular position or the place and the designation or disposition of a particular body of a devata, yaksha or human and so on. So that way Brahmaji is doing all that. So it's based on the previous karma of that living entity. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, Prabhuji, can you explain in short about Dwarka Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna and Mathura Krishna?
How is it related to what we discussed?
Actually, today only you said while discussing our last class in Shloka number, I think.
Yeah. I think that the nearness of the Lord, that right?
Yeah.
Depending on nearness and the realization, that concept was being told.
Yes, Prabhuji.
When we were discussing our example of impersonalist and the sun and okay. So we are saying in that context. So Dwarka Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna, and Mathura Krishna.
Mathura Krishna.
So the personality difference means the relationships and understanding and exchanges are based on certain perception of Krishna. So what Dwarkavasis see that Krishna is the Paramatma in everyone's heart. So they have that background understanding of that opulence of the Lord. Although they interact with him, they sit with him, they dine with him, they sleep with him and all that. Right? So that is one level of exchange which is quite intimate, but it is not as intimate as Vrindavan. Because Brajvasis, they don't think Krishna as God. They just don't think that. Even if Krishna shows them, but still that cannot be, that vision influence doesn't remain for long. Because their love is so condensed and so intimate that Krishna is my son, Krishna is my lover, Krishna is my friend. That's how that intimacy and their realization and experience is higher. So that's how that Krishna is different in that sense, Vrindavan Krishna. That's why we say Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gacchati. That Vrindavan Krishna never goes out of. So what Akrura carried was Dwarka Krishna, because Vrindavan Krishna has everyone in him, because he's Avtari, the source of all, right? Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So he has everything else within him. So his part of Vrindavan Krishna remained there, and the Dwarka Krishna and Sankarshan was carried by Akrura to Mathura, or whatever you can say. It was not Vrindavan Krishna, like Mathura Krishna, you can say that. It is little more than Dwarka. So that way the approach, as I was telling example, which Prabhupada only gives, that going into the palace, going into the kingdom of king, so you have some relation with king. Going into palace of king, you have a relation with king, knowing him as a king. Going into family of king, there is a further relation than king, but to a friend, no, whatever it is, son or husband, and so on. But inner chambers of king is like the most intimate. So they are all connected to king, but they have a different connection with the king, depending on their nearness of king. So that example is given by Prabhupada. So that way they are different, Mataji. So although they are one, but they are different, because they exist also differently, reciprocates also different. That's why the Dwarka Krishna, so to say, is remembering when he is with Rukmini and all, but he is remembering gopis there. Right? Right. So that way his personality can be thought about.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And sorry for asking that, but I was just reflecting that where we discussed this, because
No problem. No problem.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes,
Your classes are very, really nice, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare
I'm just trying to repeat. So all glories to Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, and thank all of you who are helping me to repeat. Yes, thank you. Anything else? Anyone else has anything to say? Okay. So fine. Thank you all very much. So tomorrow, Krishna willing, will begin the next chapter, 12th chapter, and yeah, maybe complete also. Let us see how it goes. Sorry, 11th chapter. It's quite technical about time. In case you get time, you can glance at least something. Then it's quite technical chapter. Before I am telling, so that there is some preparation. Thank you all very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Another video. We'll leave the meeting.